Okay, so steps to wholesale a storage facility. These are your steps. So number one, you have to pick your market. All right, pick your market. Okay, so I would suggest probably not wholesaling like a storage facility in California. Okay, because number one, they're just too expensive. They're so expensive, right? Wholesaling, I mean, storage facilities in like these huge major markets, like in Atlanta, in Denver, in Dallas or Fort Worth, or in New York, or in California, and all these big, all these big cities, in Seattle. I mean, it's just not, nobody's going to buy these types of facilities. You don't want to be focusing on big metro Atlanta areas because they're too expensive. All right. Now, maybe there's some buyers, like I have one of my students right now, he got a property under contract from the seller, and he's wholesaling it for $1.2 million. Okay. And so, I mean, that's kind of like around that price or less is probably around your sweet spot. Like I would say you wouldn't really want to go higher than that. All right. Because the person, he has it actually under contract for a buyer to buy it, but that buyer is a REIT. Right? So a lot of the times, a lot of the people that, especially first time buyers, when they get in, like they're not spending millions and millions of dollars, right? They're just going to spend they say like, okay, like 500,000 to $1 million, or, 250 to 500,000, or $1 million to 1.5 million, right? But a lot of people, what I'm saying is that the more expensive that the facility gets, then the smaller your buyer pool gets, right? So focus maybe on the cheaper ones first, right? To get your feet wet, to figure it out. And then, and then after that, you can move on up to bigger ones, possibly. Okay. All right. So picking your market means like picking it outside of a metro Atlanta area. So I focus on, a metro area. So I focus like outside of the metro Atlanta area. And actually I focus like, I'm kind of in a sweet spot. So I focus on in the Southeast. I know a lot of us are in the Southeast. Anywhere like South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. I mean, it's just really, we're just in a really good spot for storage facilities, right? Really, really good spot, so because they're just so affordable, right? A lot of storage facilities, the ones that you talk to the sellers and convince them to sell, those are very affordable. Like if you go on, so for instance, let's move on to marketing. If you go and look at, have y'all ever heard of Crexi? CREXI. So Crexi or LoopNet, or if you go onto the MLS, like if you just go onto the MLS, like it's just the prices are so ridiculous. I mean, they're like 5, 6, 7 cap, and it's just not good, So I teach my students, like you need to be double-digit cap rates, right? Because when you're a double-digit cap rate, like everybody wants to buy that. Everybody wants to buy a double-digit cap rate, right? So but nobody wants to buy like a 5 or a 6 cap, right? So essentially, like what you want to do is you just want, like for your marketing, you can go on and look at those. Like I get like Crexi and LoopNet emails, like if there's like an email, like if there's a facility coming up, or because you have to kind of like on Crexi and like LoopNet, like there's no just like storage facility like section, right? There's just, because they don't really come up very often, right? So but you can do, like you can click on, like I think industrial or warehouse or something like that, and then you can get these emails emailed to you. So I pay attention to like what's coming up, but like I would never ever buy anything on there, so, but you can at least start paying attention to the market, right? But for wholesaling, for marketing to wholesale, right, I always teach driving for storage facilities. This is what I teach. So you want to pick your market, and you want to drive around, and essentially what you want to do is you want to go onto Google Maps, right? And then you want to search like storage facilities to give you kind of an idea of like, oh, in this area, all these storage facilities are coming up. But what happens is the ones that you're going to buy are not going to come up. But the only way for you to find them is actually to go onto Google Maps and then literally go onto the satellite imagery and search in between where all the storage facilities that are not on Google Maps, okay? And then drive by and try to figure out who owns that one. Essentially, that's what I do, right? So I just go onto Google Maps. I'll search in like, I'll search Jasper, Georgia, where I live, and like all these storage facilities come up. There's like way too many storage facilities in this little tiny town. And then I'll say like, okay, so now I need to start looking like, are there any storage facilities that are not on Google Maps? And the reason why is because to get on Google Maps is like so complicated. These older people that are owning all these storage facilities, they just don't know how to get on Google Maps. And they don't really care. I mean, they've been owning the storage facility for 20 or 30 years, and they're just like, whatever, like, I don't care if I, get on Google Maps. So they're not on Google Maps. And I'm telling you, there are so many storage facilities that are not on Google Maps. Right, but the only way you can find them is by finding them on Google Maps, right? So you have to sit there and look for them. And this is what I do. I drive around, I look for them, I plan out my route, and then I drive around and look for the ones that are hidden. It's the hidden market. That's the hidden storage market. Ooh, that's a good title for a webinar. Anyway, so marketing, driving for storage facilities. Now you can get lists. Or you can go get a storage list if you want. You can go buy a storage list and mail out to like storage owners. But guess what? Don't work very much. Don't work at all. Every once in a while you'll get something. But for the amount of letters that you have to send out, like if you do like a mass email, like it's just not, nobody does this, right? So what we do is like, I'll drive around, like I'll look, I'll try to figure out where all the storage facilities are, drive around, make a list, find so many storage facilities, put them on this like master sheet, and then we'll mail a letter to the storage facility owner and the storage facility themselves. All right. So, and call as well. And then we call them, and then we just call them up. That's all we do is just call, and just talk to them. And that's really how we find our storage facilities, So I highly recommend, if you're just sitting around at your house right now, bored, like get on Google Maps, start looking for some storage facilities, call them up and be like, yo, you want to sell? Right? Like, would you be interested in selling? Like, hey, I'm looking for a storage facility. Would you be interested in selling? And talk to the owner. Don't talk. If they have an office manager, essentially say like, I need to talk to the owner. If they say no, well, then I'll say, okay, well, because a lot of them will say no, because they don't want to lose their jobs or anything like that. So talk to the owner. All right, so that's the acquisitions process, essentially, is just driving around. I mean, looking on Google Maps, driving around and trying to figure out how to find storage facilities. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. It's kind of time consuming, honestly. It's pretty time consuming. So I plan 1 to 2, I do at least 1 day a month is what I do to look for storage facilities. When I go out and look for storage facilities, I'll find like 40 or 50 facilities in 1 day. All right. And but if you're like a wholesaler, of course, you could just do it as much as you want, but like me as an owner, I'm like, I only got time once a month, so that's what I'm doing. So that's it. So then after you do that, you have to put it under contract, right? You have to put it under contract. And we'll get into that here in just a minute. And then you got to build your buyers list up. You got to build your buyers list up. Let's go here to the next one. All right. So I went over a lot of this here. All right. So you've got to talk to motivated sellers. I already told you Crexy, LoopNet, MLS, marketing list, and Google Maps. I mean, if you can think of any other ways to find storage facilities, put it in the chat, because those are like, for me, the main ways to find storage facilities, unless I forgot one. Okay. And let's see what else. Let's go to the next slide, since I already did that. Acquisitions, you got to run comps. Obviously, you run comps, so you kind of you have to run comps to see like, okay, what did the other storage facilities in the area sell for? And you can actually just run comps like right on Zillow. A lot of the times you can look and see if you can find the comps there. Or what you can do is look on like Crexy or all the areas and say, okay, what is everything kind of selling for in that area? All right, you've got to figure out the cap rate. All right, so the way that I figure out the cap rate is I just use a cap rate calculator. I mean, when you get into, if you get into my my mastermind, and you're going to get like a deal analyzer and all this kind of stuff, but essentially the easiest way is to just get a cap rate calculator. So I use like a cap rate calculator. It looks like this. Let me see if I can show y'all, if y'all can see this. I hope y'all can see this, but it looks like this. And so essentially, let me see, where is this? Oops, that's not it. Can y'all see this? Because I can't see the chat. I can't see chat. So hopefully y'all can see this. But anyway, so cap rate calculator. And you need to, on your cap rate calculator, you need to have a purchase price, the gross rental income, vacancy rate, and operating expenses, right? So purchase price, gross rental income, vacancy rate, and operating expenses. So these are the things that you need to get from the seller, right, in order to run the numbers. All right, so these are the things. You've got to know, what is their gross rental income, right? What is their vacancy rate, and what is the operating expenses? And you can do two different things. You can do like as is right now, because maybe they're like 25% full or whatever. And then like, what could they be making, right? So as of right now, they're only making, you know, whatever. They only have 25% full, so they're making this much money, but they could be making this much. And that's kind of how you market it to the buyers as well too, right? And so that's how I figure out a quick deal analysis right here. So you need to get the documents that you need from them. Would always be, of course, the rent roll, right? You need to get like a P&L and a balance sheet if they have it, but a lot of them, I'm gonna tell you, they don't have it. They don't have anything, you know. So essentially, get as much information as you can from them. Take a lot of pictures. And then you have to make like a wholesaling package, right? So you're going to be selling this to other people. So the other people that are going to be interested in buying, they're going to want to know. They're going to want to know if you have a P&L and a balance sheet, a rent roll, you know, anything like surveys or plats or like pictures, like any type of information that you can get from the seller. That's what you would do, is like basically get all that. And then what I do is just create a Google Drive folder and then just put it right into the Google Drive folder. And then once you calculate it all up, once you try to figure out what the price is, then you make the offer. Okay, so you have to make the offer. And you want to be, like I said, you want to be double-digit cap rate or higher. I mean, all the ones that I buy, they're probably 12, 13, 14, 15, 16% cap rates. I mean, super high cap rates, okay? So, you know, that's what we want. That's what storage facilities owners want, you know. The ones like me, like there are ones that like just want businesses, and there, you know, there may be some bigger companies or whatever that are just acquiring, you know, and they'll be okay with like a 7 cap, but like you'll have to play it by ear to see what they want over the next couple of months or so, you know, but nothing less than a 7 or 8 cap, honestly, for the bigger companies. I mean, we want to make money, right? Okay, okay. Liquidations. Okay, so now you got to sell it. You put it under contract. You got the contract. Remember what I said about the contract. You have to have an assignable contract. Okay, it's got to be assignable. And then you've got to start building your buyers list up, and you find cash buyers. How do you do this? I mean, honestly, the easiest way to do this is just to go onto the Facebook groups. There's like, I think there's like probably like maybe 5 to 10 storage Facebook groups. So you get in there, and then once you get under contract, just post it in there. Like, hey, I've got a storage facility for sale. Is anybody interested in this? And you'll get so many people that are interested, because there's so many people looking for storage facilities. Okay, so, and people from all over the country will buy all over the country. That's another thing about storage industry, is like people are like, you'll have people in like California buying in Atlanta, and New York buying in Texas, and people buying in Louisiana. Like I have a friend that he lives in Pennsylvania and owns them in Louisiana. So like, and actually that's, I mean, the thing with storage facilities is that it's easy to manage storage facilities. So you could just essentially buy them wherever you want to manage them, because you don't really need a lot of work. They don't need a lot of work. And then what you could do also, if if you don't like, if you can't sell it, then partner with somebody else that could help you to sell it, right? So find another wholesaler and you guys partner up. Like if you have a list, you know, then you can say like, hey, like let's partner up and I'll pay you X amount of dollars to like help me find this like buyer. So there's a lot of wholesalers out there. There's not a lot of storage facility wholesalers out there, like a handful, but like once you get into it and start learning, you know, start posting out in the Facebook groups and stuff, you'll start learning who the storage, like the wholesalers are in the storage industry. And then you just partner up with them, right? Because they're going to, I mean, they know what they're doing as well too. And they may have some buyers on their list that they're, you know, they're saying, hey, I'm looking for this right now for my buyer. Okay. And then you want to close the deal. All right. So storage facility, to close a storage facility is like not easy, just like every other property. I keep saying it's not easy, right? So, you know, people, I mean, buyers in the storage industry and the commercial industry, they require a lot of things. All right. So they require like a P&L and a balance sheet. They require like rent rolls. They require all these different, you know, they want the lease agreements. They want to know like how much security deposit was put down. So like there's a lot of different things that you have to do. So just be prepared that to close the deal takes a lot of work. You have to do a lot of work in order to close the deal. Okay. This is not like you hand it off to like the attorney and then like let them close the deal. I mean, it's like you have to come up with like a whole bunch of different stuff because you're actually selling a business. And so you have to come up with all these documents and stuff. So I just want to prepare because like a lot of people just kind of think like, oh, once I got it under contract and I'm going to sell it, I'm going to make this money and it's awesome. And it's like, yeah, no, it's not done. It's not closed. It's not easy until like you actually get like you actually close and get that wire transfer, right? And then you're done, right? But up until that very moment, and if you've ever been in the real estate industry, you know that like literally everything happens in the 11th hour. Everything, like everything goes wrong like the day of the closing. It just does. So be prepared for that is what I'm saying. Okay. All right.